die eerste dag van die Toyota 1000 woestynren.
Carolyn en Scholthammer het vanaand eerste by die oornagpunt op Tylerspan aangekom en is die voorlopers in die motorafdeling. Kort op hulle hakke is die vroeë voorlopers Klaus Degener en Derek Pinoy in hulle Duckums Chenner. Die wenners van die Barberspan 500, Alfred van Vieren en Piet Pelser en die Toyota Hilux is in die derde plek. In die motorfietsafdeling is Patrick Andrews van Lesotho op 'n KTM in die eerste plek, gevolg deur Richard Manning op 'n Winston Yamaha. Die woestynren eindig môre middag op Vryburg.
Total, earning our stripes for you, earning our stripes in motorsport. Proudly present a review of the Toyota 1000 Desert Race, third round of the Total GTE Off-Road Championship. The Toyota 1000 Desert Race got underway in Vryburg yesterday with the car and motorcycle crews faced with a tough 480-kilometer slog to the overnight stop at Taylor's Pan. In today's report on the Desert Race, we take a look at some of the action on a dramatic first day. We'll also be following car and motorcycle competitors on the long haul from Taylor's Pan back to the finish at Vryburg. The early running in the car category was made by Klaus Degener and Derek Pinoy in the Duckums Chenoweth. On the run to Salvi, where the locals were out in force, some long sections gave crews the opportunity to step on the gas. Chasing hard were Bux Carolyn and Kenny Scholthammer in the very quick Total Race Co. Already one main challenger, Philip Milan and Richard Leake in the turbocharged Toyota Hilux, had fallen by the wayside. The demise of Milan and Leake took some of the pressure off the front runners, and Robin Yates and Nardis Alberts, who were going along steadily in third place. Former national champions Hannes Schrobler and Pete Swanepoel were leading the commercial class in the BP Nissan one-tonner. The Springbok pair were also former South African rally champions. There was also early hints of a good battle in Class 7, with Steve Parker and VZ van Zyl taking an early lead in the VW buggy in what looked to be a highly competitive category. On the bike side, it was a case of flat-out racing. First man away from the start was Kevin Fisher on the Rock Oil KTM, who faced a difficult task in trying to control the pace of the race from the front. Lesotho rider Patrick Andrews on another KTM was chasing hard after Fisher. Andrews started out as one of the pre-race favourites. As expected, Richard Manning was up with the leaders on the Winston Yamaha. Manning was third on the road and leading the 200 class. Back in action after having the big toe on his left foot amputated recently, Yuri Himman was also going well. In the 250 class, the early running was made by Yanni de Bruin on the NGK Team Green Kawasaki. The run to the Dinnerping service area, 180 kilometers into the event, saw three space frame cars in the top three positions. Behind them, a great duel was developing in the commercial class, with local farmers R.P. Reinecker and Lucas Dreyer working their way through the field after problems had dropped them back to 17th. The consistent Alfred van Vieren and Piet Pelser were also working their way through the field in the standard Toyota Hilux. In Class 7, there had been a change of leadership, with Craig Hopkinson and Catherine Shimwell taking over from Steve Parker and VZ van Zyl. There was drama for leader Patrick Andrews on the KTM when he ran out of fuel almost within sight of the 7 refuel point. A frustrated Andrews was being closely followed by second-placed Errol Dalton on the Bird Paradise Kawasaki. In the true tradition of off-road racing, Dalton ignored the fact that he was involved in a hectic race with a stop to offer help to the stranded Andrews, who was trying to make his way to the refuel on foot. Dalton gave it to where Andrews had abandoned his bike. Like many of the other riders, Dalton had taken the precaution of carrying an extra litre of fuel in a body pouch. He willingly handed this over to a grateful Andrews. With Andrews back in action after what for him must have been a traumatic experience, Dalton was the first to get going again. This put him in a slender lead, and had he not stopped to help the stricken Andrews, Dalton could have opened up a sizable gap over the KTM rider. The refuel point must have been a welcome sight for Andrews, who could have been in deep trouble had Dalton not stopped to help. The section between Dinnerpeng and Dinaka saw the battle up front between Klaus Degener and Bux Carolyn continue, until Degener lost time when he took the wrong route. Hanna Schrobler and Pete Swanepoel had moved into third spot in the Nissan after a steady performance. Greg Wiebel, who has only one eye, and Warren Claassen were by now in contention in the special vehicles class and had worked their way into fifth overall. There was also a tremendous fight going on in the Class 5 between Jackie Weldon and Andy Peaceful in an Isuzu, and the Toyota Hilux being driven by Neil Slemmer and Charlie Higgs. The two buckies arrived at control point almost side by side. A little later, it was the turn of Patrick Andrews, now firmly ensconced in second place, to return the favour to Errol Dalton. This time, the roles were reversed, with Dalton out of fuel and Andrews playing the Good Samaritan. Andrews checked the level of his own fuel, and then the pair got down to the business of discussing just how they were going to transfer petrol from one tank to the other. The first crew to arrive at the overnight stop at Taylor's Pan were Bux Carolyn and Kenny Skolthammer. The pair had opened up a 20-minute lead over Klaus Degener and Derek Pinoy. For Degener and Pinoy, the control point at Taylor's Pan arrived in the nick of time. The Duckham's Chenoweth was in the process of shedding its left rear tyre, and some great camera work captured all the action. The Toyota pair of Alfred van Vieren and Piet Pelser provided the surprise of the day by filling third spot overall.
We pulled 20 minutes on them today, so if we can just keep that 20 minutes, we'll be happy, but if we can pull another 20 minutes, it'll be even better.
On the bike side, Patrick Andrews had moved back into the lead on the KTM, with Dalton slipping back down the field. A tremendous performance on the Winston Yamaha saw Richard Manning come in second.
Probably ran out about 3 or 4 times. And then we rode with Errol for a long while, and then we helped each other, we gave each other fuel and so on. I made it out to ride the last 2 Ks with some mixed fuel. I had to get some fuel down the road. I couldn't make it here.
The overnight stop at Taylor's Pan has become a Toyota 1000 desert race tradition. There is plenty of activity while competitors and service crews go to work on some battered machinery. Then it's time to relax with a party atmosphere developing under the stars deep in the northwestern Cape Bush. There was another early start for the crews this morning, with Bux Carolyn and Kenny Skolthammer the first car to leave a cold Taylor's Pan. Nearly 300 kilometers later, disaster struck for Carolyn and Skolthammer at Dinapeng with overheating problems caused by grass seeds sucked into the engine.
Sucked in seeds into the motor. We won't be to have gas here so we can blow it out, but we're going to have to nurse it a bit now.
A few kilometers later on, and Carolyn's race was run, and Klaus Degener and Derek Pinoy took over the lead in the Duckham's Chenoweth. The pair decided against heroics on the run into the finish, but Degener made up his mind to finish with a flourish when the pair arrived at a crowded Vryburg Motorsport Club to take that checkered flag.
After so many disappointments in racing, particularly off-road racing, coming second so many times, third, to actually win the Toyota 1000 now is, I still can't, it hasn't sunk in. It's fantastic. It's the most incredible feeling.
There was a stunning upset in the bike category when Richard Manning came through to win on the Winston Yamaha running in the 200 class. Join us again on Top Sport on TV1 next Saturday afternoon when we'll bring you edited highlights of the Toyota 1000 Desert Race.